Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I will be showing you my new Lechuza pot. So if you watched my recent treating myself to my rare plants video, then you will have seen that I got a couple of Lechuza Self Watering pots. I initially had bought them for a video, but in kind of a panic mode, I decided to put those lovely rare plants in there because I've heard so many good things about them. A few of you in the comments did say that I need to be careful about keeping them in any kind of compost or soil based substrate in there because it can keep the soil too moist and then lead to root rot. So it kind of got me thinking. I was like, okay, eventually I think I will convert them to LECA? No, Pon. I always get them mixed up. So Pon is, as far as I understand, it is the substrate that is patented to Lechuza themselves. So what I have got is this Classico. I believe this is the 17-inch. No, 18-inch. So I've got a Classico 18-inch, and it comes with the system in a little, basically it's all in this cardboard insert, which I can never seem to get out. Right, hold on. Come on, come on. Because you're watching, guys, now suddenly I can't do it magically, okay? So once you've taken that cardboard insert out, this basically contains the water monitor stick, I think. Or it might just be the Pon mix, we'll see in a second anyway. But in the bottom here we have the self-watering shelf, as it were, that keeps the plant and substrate above the water table, as it were. So yeah, that is all that is, nothing too fancy about it. It just has some holes through it and a little kind of bit here that basically allows the Pon to sit in the water and for the water to kind of wick upwards. So yeah, and that little hole that you see cut out there, that's where you can refill the water, which I will show you in a minute. So let's get this off. So there's the label. It doesn't say anything on the label other than Lechuza. So in this little cardboard insert here, we have got an amount of Pon. Okay, so will it tell me what the contents are? No. I've got a bigger pack of Pon, which I'll show you in a minute, so maybe it will tell us on there what's in there. But basically, this is enough to cover that kind of perched level, and that is where the moisture will wick through the Pon, which is why you want to have it. It's almost like having a gravel layer at the bottom of a terrarium or something like that. So, and then we have got these little bits. So we've got this, which is the reservoir, as it were, or the tunnel to the reservoir. I don't know my technical terms. I'm certainly not a hydroponics person, so although I would love to be one day. If I ever have fish, I would love that, to get into hydroponics. So basically all you do is you fit this into the pot like so, into that little hole that I showed you, and then we've got the moisture meter. So this attaches, it's got some instructions, but once you've done it once or twice, it's fairly kind of self-explanatory. So yeah, I'm kind of a fan of this as an approach because I am a terrible underwaterer, and I really need all the help I can get when it comes to rare or more expensive plants, because this is one of many reasons why I don't like to spend a lot of money on plants, is because I know that I can be a bit neglectful. So you get this little polystyrene float which goes on the end of the red stick here. Okay, and then you kind of stick that in there. You stick this top bit onto the top of the grey tube. This is probably not the most self-explanatory video because I'm not really zoomed in or anything, so hang on, I've kind of done that backwards. Stick the black bit onto the top of the tube because then it'll be easier to prod the red stick through. Okay, it's a little bit tight, and then we thread the red stick through, which for some reason is just the most impossible thing. There we go. Right, so it comes through the top there. You connect on the meter, which says min and max. You connect the little black bit at the bottom so that that stick can't come out, and that is basically it. So that then slots into the pot like so, and then we have a little reservoir cap so that, you know, loads of substrate isn't going to go falling into your water reservoir at any point in time. So that is how you set it up, and all you do with this is literally just pour it into the bottom of the pot. I will do it now anyway because why not? So I haven't told you the plan. I'll just open this first. By the way, this does come with instructions. It's got a little instruction book. I mean, it's, you know, it's like reading an IKEA instruction book. It's all done by images with no words, like so. So yeah, just to be aware that that is how the instructions come. But like I said, it's not a complicated process. And if you get stuck, just YouTube search how to put your Lechuza pot together, because there is a lot of videos on YouTube that will tell you. So right, I'm just going to grab this and show you up close, hopefully. Oh, if I don't drop it everywhere. So this is your pon mixture. As you can see, it's kind of like, it's almost like just putting gravel in the bottom. It's really airy and very porous with the pumice, which is what enables kind of that wicking effect. So I'll just pour that in. Right, so hopefully, oh, that's not going to work, is it? Right, let's see. Can I do it like this? Yeah, hopefully you can see that that kind of covers the layer at the bottom. So there's basically nowhere where if you were to use some form of like aroid mix or some kind of compost-based substrate, then it's not going to make contact with the water reservoir and get kind of over-soaked. Right, so that is how you would set it up for your soil compost kind of organic based mixture for your plant. I'm going to take a bit of a risk today, honestly. So I will show you. Here is my sad little Philodendron Tortum, and he was glorious. Okay, he was beautiful, and now he's not. And I have a horrible feeling it might be root rot. I'm not sure because I haven't inspected the roots, but the main substrate around his root ball seems to be very damp all the time, I think. So I do have him in a really chunky mix, but it seems like even that isn't quite chunky enough. So I feel like he's the perfect candidate to convert into a semi-hydroponic style pot. Don't get me wrong, I know he's going to get worse before he gets better, okay? That is quite often the case when you are converting plants to semi-hydroponics, because essentially what they have right now is a set of roots that is ready to absorb moisture from a damp substrate and not from kind of the air and small amounts of moisture coming through particles of rock, essentially. So they kind of have to grow slightly different roots. They're not water roots, but they're slightly different in that they absorb the water in a slightly different way. I'm being very unscientific about this. Emma, why do you never research things and get the proper terminology before these videos? I will learn, I promise, guys. So yeah, so I am going to risk it because I honestly think if I pop him into another soil-based substrate, I think he's gonna just continue to tank. For whatever reason, he's not happy, so I'm gonna do this as a last-ditch attempt. Honestly, before the whole self-watering thing, I probably would have gone for LECA, because I've had quite good success with philodendrons like him and living in LECA. And even in the conversion process, they haven't taken too much of a hit, although I know the Tortum is known to be quite a bit more finicky. My prime example of a plant flourishing in LECA is my Philodendron Imperial Red, who has just like grown like this. And that's pretty impressive considering I always forget to top up his water because I'm just a horrible plant parent. So yeah, he's been a very hardy one. So what we need to do, okay, before I waffle anymore, is I need to remove this from the substrate. I need to remove as much of the soil from the roots as possible, and that might also include washing it under the tap. So we will see, we'll just have to see what we've got when we get to the root ball. So how am I going to do this? I think I'm going to get my little, I've got this, okay guys, this is genius. And I feel like every plant parent should have one. This is basically a seedling potting tray thing, and all it does is catches all your dirt, which makes life a lot easier because then you can just tip it into your garden waste or into your bin if you've got sort of non-organic matter in your waste, and yeah, makes cleanup a lot easier. So you may only see my torso for a small amount of this. I'm very sorry. Right, so let's see what's happening with your little fella. Okay, so interestingly, this doesn't seem like he's got bad roots. He's got quite a few dry roots at the top, but the bottom roots are mostly nice and thick. Ooh, okay, so he's not gonna like me messing with them. But you gotta do what you gotta do, okay? Right. Hey, what you doing? Lucy? Up. No. Up. Psst. Lucy. No, girl. Lucy. Cat's trying to eat plants. I think that's about as much as I'm going to get off with my fingers. I turned the sound off so you wouldn't hear the plant scream. Just kidding, it doesn't scream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get as much as possible off these roots, as much as possible of the soil off these roots. Reason being is because if this soil is exposed to kind of a really moist environment, it will just stay wet and eventually rot the roots that it's kind of surrounding. So because it doesn't allow for much air, so that is the reason why we don't like soil-based substrates to be always wet, because essentially that means it's saturated, which, now that I think about it, is probably why you guys have said that it's not great to have a self-watering pot with a soil-based substrate. Makes sense. Right, so you might see another repot of my Philodendron melanochrysum before it's too late. Yes, anyway, so that was, yeah, I feel like I got plenty of it off. I know everyone has their own different techniques for getting soil off of their plant roots. For me, I think it's really important to use your bare hands, because you can feel with your fingers what damage you're doing. You can feel what's between your fingers, and you can loosen it very gently without damaging the roots. If I show you the soil that's come off, I've got like a few capillary roots in there, but not really, none of the really meaty roots have come off, and there's still a lot of capillary rooting on here as well. So I think it's really useful to be able to use your sense of touch for this. And I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm a nature freak. Right, I am going to go and wash this root ball mess off in the sink and try and get as much soil off as possible, and I will be right back. Yeah, by the way, do as I say, not as I do. Don't wash it in the sink, because whoever you live with will not thank you, slash your landlord will not thank you. That's why I'm not telling mine. Be right back. Okay, so that only took about 5 minutes. There is obviously still quite a bit of soily substrate on these roots, but I'm pleased that at least kind of the majority is off. Yeah, what I found before with converting my previous philodendron to LECA was that it required kind of a not quite a repot, but like a reshuffle of the clay balls, and to inspect the roots at probably like a month in, just to make sure that there wasn't too much significant root rot going on. Obviously there is some to be expected, because you can't get all of the soil substrate off, and some of the roots will inevitably die off because they're not useful to the plant anymore, because they are specifically for absorbing moisture from a kind of soil-based substrate. So that's what I plan to do with this. So all I'm going to do is just stick it into the self-watering pot and kind of position it vaguely how I want it to be positioned. And I have my big bag of Pon. Now Pon is quite expensive, and overall the Lechuza brand is quite expensive. So this pot cost me £15, I think, and the Pon that comes with it, so the Pon to use for your soil-based substrates, that comes free with the plant, but this, I believe this was £4.99, I think, for 6 litres of Pon. And it turns out it is all in not English. Oh, okay, no, we've got some English on here. Okay, so it is made of pumice, lava, zeolite and fertilizer. So that fertilizer, as I understand it, it's all coming back to me now. That fertilizer will probably last for a couple of months before you need to fertilize your plant at all. So let's see. I probably should have, oh, my grow lights have gone off. Yeah, apologies, it's like 10 o'clock at night. So that is why those have gone off. So I probably should have read this before I went for like straight for it, but it says use only for soil independent cultivation methods, contains boron, copper and zinc in amounts suitable for plant cultivation, designed for use in planters. That's really okay, that's fine. It says Pon is the perfect alternative to conventional potting soil. It's structurally stable, supports root aeration and perfectly controls the water supply. So there we have it, guys. Sorry that the light has now changed a little bit, but short of changing my timer, then there's not much I can do about that. Oh, it's got a nice little resealable lip. Right. Oh god. Okay. I know I'm doing it again. I'm flapping around the scissors. I'm sorry, okay? I am sorry. I know that it triggers people. Okay, so all I am going to do is just pour it in, kind of like I would soil. And actually, am I going to pour it in? Maybe. Let's see. See how I can control this. So, right, that's part of the way, and I'll just do the remainder like this. The really nice thing about LECA and Pon is that it's kind of quite heavy, so it does sit your plant in the position that you put it in, basically. Which is actually really nice. So this one, he's in a bit of a funny growing habit. We'll see what happens with him. I actually can't tell if that's an area. I think that's an aerial root, so I'm going to leave that out. Right. So a little bit to go. But overall, we're looking good. Okay. I'm guessing that that's kind of a reasonable amount to plant it in, and it's pretty much, it might be slightly bigger than the pot that it was in just before, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't kind of get overwhelmed, but to be honest, I think with Pon it should be okay. Sorry, I realise I'm saying this without no head, without any head, without my head. Okay, it's late at night and I clearly have lost my grasp on the English language. Right, so here we go. So it's potted in here nicely, and as you can see, it's not really wobbling about, which is excellent. So here you can see the water meter. So at the bottom we've got the min, which is where the red float is sitting right now, and then at the top you've got the max, so your float needs to be somewhere between here and here. You don't want it all the way up there because that means that it has gone over the top of your reservoir. So all I am going to do is fill up my reservoir and then we're done. Okay. Right. Wasser, where am I going to find Wasser? Okay, right. This is not going to be the prettiest thing you've ever seen, but it's okay because you can't see it. That's fine. Right, okay. Okie dokie, so that has come up to the top. I'm just going to slide that on there. So now you can see that little red float is floating close to the max. It's wobbling because I'm wobbling it around a lot. But yeah, so that is one philodendron nicely potted up. So I will be monitoring this over the next few days / weeks / months and see how it goes. But as you can see, he's already kind of struggling, so don't hate me if he loses these leaves. It's kind of expected when you convert something into pon or LECA or any form of hydroponic type growing. They do go through a period of shock and stress, so that is unfortunately to be expected, but not the end of the world. So that is everything from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do let me know if converting your plants to pon is something you either have done or are considering doing. If you have done it, let me know how it went for you. And if you think this will survive, let me know. I think that should be it for this week's video, guys. Just a very quick, I know I've said it already, but thank you so much for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. I'm over the moon. Like, I can't even tell you how over the moon I am. I'm just like, it's excellent. I just sort of tell everyone. So yeah, that's my big-headed moment for the day. Anyway, I hope you're all having a lovely week, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again next week. Bye guys.